All right, so Penny, I want you to, if you can, take me back, give a little bit of background about what led to where we are today.
Okay, so my husband and I became foster parents, and when we had met a potential placement, we went to the group home, picked up the kids, and then we brought them back. Because it was like we did like a trial run to see how it would go, make sure it was a fit, because I do have four of my own biological children. And we took the kiddos back. It was a great fit. It was going to work. And my now adopted son said, "Wait, I have someone I want you to meet." And that was Ryan. Ryan said at that time that he wanted to maintain the relationship he had built with the children, that he had really bonded with them. My son at the time had a broken femur. He had hurt himself at the group home. So he had really just bonded with him as a brother and uncle. I'm not going to say a father figure, but very someone to confide in and trust, knowing that he had already come from a really bad past, met this guy who was a mentor
And
in the
Ryan worked at the home.
Ryan worked at the group home. He also worked at the church doing security. He was really involved in the youth, and he seemed like a great guy. He was very open about overcoming addiction, very open about his brother committing suicide. He or overdosing, which was a suicide, however it's worded.
Yeah.
He was so upcoming and so forefront that you just trusted the guy. So he knew that we'd have to ask the Department of Health and Welfare and the owner of the group home to continue a relationship with the children and with our family. I did not
And what
invite
did
him.
you guys think? Were you fine with the relationship being continued?
I thought, as a brand new foster parent, brand new to this, how amazing that this adult man who has worked with foster youth for a long time, vetted by the system, works in the group home. Not only is he making that relationship with the kids, but he's gonna see that we're good people too. Like I kind of felt, hey, it's a win-win, right? Like we're going to learn some stuff. He's known the kids for over 2 months. He's gonna be like almost like I felt like a stepping stone between them because we did not take all the siblings with us. So some siblings were left at the group home. It was a large set. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, he was that bridge between the siblings at the group home, the siblings we had, and he seemed like a great guy. It
So,
seemed like a great fit taking the kids to church, getting them baptized, really having these heart to hearts with these kids. And it slowly evolved into our home. He'd come over. It started first with like themed dinner nights, like on Wednesday nights. We do themed dinners or spicy food challenges or dessert challenges. My biological kids, seemed to like him. He was never alone with kids here. So it was never weird. I never got like, oh, that guy's a pedophile vibe.
yeah.
I never saw any warning signs.
So did you get permission then from the state and from the group home for him to continue?
Yes,
And
we had permission.
so Penny, do you know, was he doing this with other families?
Yes, I do know he did do this to other families. I do know a few that he self-disclosed to me that he would take children from the group home to their placements. And I know he was upset about a few that would not reciprocate his friendship offering. I know a few did turn him down. I also believe there's other victims out there that have not come forward yet.
Mm.
Um, Based on the information I know, I believe there's a lot of other victims that have not come forward
So
because
how often was
it's
was he
scary.
coming over to your place?
He was coming after we started this, he was over at our house 3 to 5 days a week.
Wow. Like after school?
After school during the day, he'd come, we talked business. He ended up managing my property in Boise because he had a property management company. He was starting a CPR company. He used to be an EMT. I used to be a medic. We worked in the same counties in California. So we had a lot of these like past similarities. He was always here. He'd go shooting with my husband and my kids. We'd go out for ice cream. He was always here. We had an open door policy. He'd just walk in the house.
Wow. And never had a weird vibe about him.
Never. When I was struggling with one of the our placements we had had in the past, he actually came over and helped us with him. And my husband and I wanted to go on a date for our anniversary. I knew Ryan was qualified to babysit this child and never had any red flags. We went to Jelly Roll and I got
Mm.
him a ticket to come to Jelly Roll with us.
Did the one in Boise just last year?
No, the one prior. So
Oh,
when he was
okay.
in Nampa,
Okay.
we ended up VIP, front row. My son got a fist pump Jelly Roll,
Mm.
but Ryan came with us.
So he's part of the family, it sounds
Part of the
like.
family, camping trips,
Wow.
um, pumpkin patch, birthdays, every birthday he was at, fully in
When
our family.
when did things start to feel not feel right? Well, I mean, tell me when you realize something isn't right here.
It wasn't until December 15th of 2024.
And what
He
happened?
had started drinking. So his birthday is in November. And he started drinking about a week after his birthday. And he'd come over here, he just looked rough. He looked like he was struggling and really struggling. And it was really hard for my kids to see. And I'm like, dude, you got to clean it up. You need to get help. Um, then we go through Thanksgiving. His parents come to Thanksgiving at my parents' house. He says grace over our table. And he was struggling then with the alcohol, but he didn't drink that night. So then that we had Thanksgiving, and this is kind of like this cycle. 2 weeks later, he was so intoxicated that I thought he was going to hurt himself.
Mm.
And I was worried he was going to overdrink, fall down the stairs, hit his head. So I made the decision with my son, who was begging me to go to his house to help him sober up. My plan was go to his house, dump out his alcohol, have him watch a movie for half an hour, eat some food, and we'll go home. No harm, no foul, just help out this man who is literally my son's best friend. And we went there. And this is where it gets really hard. And there's been a lot of judgment. But when we went there, I text Ryan that we were there, and he said, text me back, okay. He walked out of his house and he pulled a gun on us. He then put it away and put his hands out, and it was goofy Ryan and was like, oh, you guys actually came. In that moment, I froze. My son froze. I don't know the details. I know we got the gun in the car. My trauma, I don't remember the details.
Did he say anything? Did he just point it at you and say, "What are you doing here?" I mean,
He walked out his door, and this is all verified on his ring camera footage. He walked out, he had put the gun like in the front, I think, of his clothing, walked out, like peeked around his house, and then peeked again with a loaded weapon at us. It was loaded. And he did not pull the trigger, but he racked it.
hmm.
We could
And
have
after,
died that night. But again, we went into a state of shock, both of us. Like,
right,
I knew in my gut, if I had driven off, he would have shot us. We froze. Like, what do you do in that? And what do you do? This man has been in your home for the past year. He's safe. He's now a family member.
right, right. So
Um,
then he goes back to funny Ryan, the guy you knew.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. The weapon gets secured into my glove box, locked. We go in the house. Well, actually, my son went in first. I got the car locked, and then I went in,
Into
and
his
it wasn't
house. And where's
into his
Ryan at this
house.
time? And where's he at this time? Ryan.
Ryan and my son had gone into the home.
They went in. Then you go in. Okay.
I go in the house. I dump out all his White Claws. We get a movie. I get his weighted blanket on him, just as we had planned, right? Sit down, drink some water, sober up. Excuse me. What I didn't know that evening, what I did not see was the touching of my son. I did not see it because I was in the pantry looking for food. And I don't know when that happened because I did not see it, so I cannot comment on it, but that's some of the charges from that night. Groping his genitals. Um,
And how old was your son at the time?
16.
Hmm.
And there was a point when I was in that house, and it went from a goofy guy we have known for a year who's a safe, godly man to the devil. His eyes got big like saucers, they were black. And at one point, he was choking my son so much that I had to pry him off of him. It's like Ryan, because they had a very playful relationship,
Hmm.
and
So
they weren't
they're
playing.
like wrestling, and then he
They were
chokes him.
wrestling, and he was choking, like he was like my son was turning red, and like Ryan's hands were like white knuckled, and I pried him off of him.
Mm.
And it went from, and then at one point, like with all of this, it kind of happened fast, where now the guy's spraying my son with all this cologne, making statements that he smells like a seventh grade locker room, trying to get me to smell him. And now we're getting to the point where it's getting weird and it's getting unsafe, but we can't just walk out that front door for our own safety. There was an energy in that house that was terrifying. Um, and I don't know what came first, the perfume or the choking. We can pull police report or the police reports have it all documented. It was
Mm.
terrifying. And I remember trying to think of how I'm going to get out of this house alive because Ryan also had weapons all over his house that were loaded. I don't know where they were, but they were all over. And
And he knows where you live, obviously, and he's been to your house in
we
and out,
shared our GPS location.
right?
I
S- So what'd you do? What'd you do next?
well, before we could leave, it actually gets to the point where it gets worse. He at one point I was sitting on the couch next to him and I said, "Oh my God, he's a pedophile." Based on the things he was saying. I've been around a lot of people who've been drunk in their life. Never once has anyone said they would want to hurt a child or do horrific things to children. He was soliciting my son.
In front of you,
Um,
like
Horrible, horrible things were being
right
said.
there with you in front of you're there, and he's soliciting your son.
So, yes, absolutely soliciting my son in front of me. I am saying there's no consent on in this room. That is my child. He's not for sale. You cannot do this. I'm telling him it's illegal. I am saying all these things. Ryan's eyes were like big black like saucers. He kept telling us he was the devil. And I believed it. He has a Jesus or God thumbprint on the wall in his house. And he said, that's not even real. Jesus isn't real. This is the man who works at the church, who takes the children to church, preaches Bible verses.
Mm.
And he's talking about doing horrible things to young children.
So did you call the police?
No, I thought I was going to die. Honestly, if you were sitting in this room, it's like now it's like after midnight. I knew if I would have called the police, I would have died. Ryan would have shot us first
Mm.
to hide a secret. Like I said, there was an energy in that house that I cannot explain. He never said the words, you cannot leave, but I will tell you the energy in that room was, you cannot leave. He just outed him. He outed every ounce of evil that he's committed in life came out that night.
So he told you he had confessed and said, I have child
He
sexual exploitative dreams.
absolutely, absolutely that stuff came out. I'll never forget the point that one time my son said to him, Ryan, would you F a 5-year-old? And Ryan didn't respond.
Mm.
His body language said everything I needed to know.
Wow.
And at one point, I did say to him, where's your Xanax? I knew he took Xanax because I'm thinking if I get a Xanax, he can self-medicate, pass out so I can leave this house
Right.
alive.
Yeah.
And he told us that he'd already taken one. That fear of leaving his house. When people say, like, why didn't you just walk out? I will tell you why. After the soliciting, and the horrible things that were said, we were trying to get, like, just come over tomorrow. We were faking it as much as we could to get out that house alive because
Yeah.
now we're in survival mode. And I will never forget it. When we went to leave, he actually said, he was sitting on the couch with his little nightstand. And he said something like, "Oh, you guys forgot one," or something, and pretended to shoot my son with his hands.
Hmm, man. So when you got out of the house, where'd you go? What'd you do?
Home, we finally were able to leave because Ryan was unable to stand up at this point. He had a weighted blanket on. He could no longer get up. I got to the point where I'm like, okay, this guy doesn't realize maybe we're safe enough to leave where he's not going to come chase us down the street and kill us for outing himself.
Yeah.
So we go home. My husband gets the gun. We have two safes, puts it away. And then I was in a state of panic and fear. Like, what are you supposed to do? You just survived this. This man that's been in your home for a year, who you knew is a safe human, has just outed himself as a pedophile. And the next day I did contact the case manager for CPS. We're trying to process. She knows him. Everyone knows him. He was involved with therapies with children. He was in every circle of experts. He was he was in. Nobody saw it. Um, and I did go to call the police a few days later, and I panicked and I froze and I said he's going to kill me if he knows that I'm close. Because I thought when I called the police that they would actually call him and say, "Ryan, we need to talk."
Yeah.
Uh, no, no, that's how I thought this stuff worked. Um, we were actually out of town when we called the police. And when I called, they said about an hour to get a call back because of whatever, however long. And I'm like, I'm going to be busy. When the detective called back a few minutes later, she said, "Unfortunately, I know Ryan Patania very well."
Mm,
Because I made a joke about, wow, that was a fast call back because I'm just calling this in. What am I calling in? The guy was drunk saying crazy things with
yeah.
the weapon.
Yeah.
When you're after you've lived it, you're trying to even process it yourself, right?
Sure.
Ryan was removed from my family immediately. He showed up Monday after this happened, unannounced, uninvited. He did get his weapon back, and he admitted to everything he had done. All that was
And,
given to law
and,
enforcement.
and he was
Huh?
sober at the time.
Completely sober. Never really apologized. Did blame us for going over. Said we were never supposed to see this. We were never supposed to see this side of him.
So when the cop told you that she said, "Unfortunately, I know him," did she elaborate at that point?
She did as much as she could, as in she had been getting information and reports on him, but never enough to get a warrant.
I see.
People were reporting him, but it was kind of like maybe it was a report about him being inappropriate, but they don't know who the parents are of the children are. They don't know who the child is. They
Yeah.
know he's saying things. Um, he had a sponsor for these types of things. I just found that out recently.
What does
I
that
was
mean?
told he was, I'm sorry, what?
What does that mean? He had a sponsor for these type of
He had a
things.
sponsor for his porn addiction and
Oh,
child stuff. I,
so he was trying to go through rehab and he had someone assisting him.
yes.
I see.
I don't know
So,
about rehab. I,
or
what you
addiction recovery or
something,
however.
yes.
Yeah.
He had a very known problem. It was very well documented. I found out from the detective that day that the first time Ryan offended, he was 18 years old, and he had offended on a 10-year-old in California.
Oh my. Was that on his record? I mean, how did he get hired at the home for kids?
The million-dollar question. Um, I know it's on there. He admitted to it. It's documented. It was at a church. It's all documented. It's in all, I read all the police reports. It's there. California never charged him. One thing I was told from someone on this investigation, I don't know who told me this, but his age was hard because they didn't really have anywhere to house him. The age, even though he admitted to it, and California dropped the ball. And his family knew, his friends knew what he was capable of. Um, his past employers knew.
Yeah.
How
So
did he
he
go? From the church to Foster and Hart, I don't know. I don't know.
So he comes over, you say you're no longer welcome here. He admits again, and this time he's sober. What led to the arrest? What led to the getting that warrant, that final warrant that was needed?
Because when I called the police that day, my son talked and said what he did to him.
Mm,
That was enough to get the warrants. Because like I said, I did not know about the touching. I was in the pantry
yeah,
when the touching had happened.
right.
It took that case to get the warrant. He got arrested because I gave up his location. I followed him that weekend. We shared locations. I worked with the detectives when the SWAT team arrested him when he was in Albertsons. Um, I think he knew something was up. I did try to talk to him afterwards. I found out some really, really dark things, and I'm like, how do I get this guy apprehended? What do you need from me? They had enough for the warrants based on that night. Also, we had the all of our text messages where he's admitting to things, and our ring camera footage from inside
Mm.
our home, which we had given to law enforcement.
Did
So
that
you get the
show
warrant.
anything?
What?
Did that ring camera footage show things that you may have missed?
The one inside his house absolutely did. The
And
one
did it
inside
have
his house,
audio? Yeah.
it's audio and video.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay.
Oh, he produced it about 4 months later. The things he said in there, I don't even remember over half of them. I only know because I read the police report recently where it's like verbatim the things he said.
Yeah, yeah. So they go in and arrest him with your help. You basically track him down. The FBI goes and gets him. Does he confess?
Nope, lawyered up immediately.
Hmm.
They did recover like all my text messages for him. He was already deleting my text messages. He didn't know I'd already given mine to like my husband, my son, and myself had already given everything over from our phones prior to his arrest. He had already deleted my husband and my son's text message threads and had started to delete mine when he was arrested.
Hmm.
And um, it was that arrest that led to the discovery of the other charges.
Mm.
I had
So
no idea.
you had no idea. This all happens over a series of days, right?
Yes, so December 15th is when the event at his house happened. I'm traumatized trying to figure out how to move forward. We have Christmas. He's in California at his sister's. Remember, again, we're sharing location. The day he was flying home was the day I called police.
Okay.
So, and then we were out of town, and that's also what was scary is he kept wanting to meet me alone that weekend. He wanted to know what kids I had with me.
Hmm.
So he knew something was up, but he also said, "You're going to see a side of me you've never seen before."
Wow.
And I'm glad I never met him alone. But he also thought he had smoothed everything over by coming to our house that night.
Hmm.
He didn't know nothing was smoothed over that evening.
Right.
He didn't know we had already pretty much outed him into this direction.
Yeah.
Um, he's very good at what he does. I have asked law enforcement, did anyone else in this community think he was weird? Not one person.
Because he was a normal, fun
Not one
guy.
person. Normal guy. Normal
Yeah.
guy. Like I was in the office, the detective's office one day, and she had this wall up of all these pedophiles. And I'm like, that one's weird. And there's like one guy that was weird. She's like, I got that one online. Pedophiles look like normal people,
Yeah.
not that scary guy driving the kidnapping van.
Right.
This was a guy in his 30s, clean cut, nice house, clean car. I had no
Hmm.
idea. I had
So
no idea.
I think he was held on like $1.5 million bond, I believe, at one point, maybe in the beginning.
That was the beginning.
What's that?
That's it. I think it was a million, then two and a half, and then 500. It got up to
Oh,
4 million.
Okay, okay, yeah. So they get him, they talk to him, he lawyers up. When this goes and proceeds and you start to learn all of the evidence they have and just what they collected, what was your thought?
How did I fail my kids? How did I not see it?
Hmm.
How did I not see this monster? I
Right,
have worked extremely hard to keep my children safe in life. I teach body safety. I bought all those books where hands go. Like I consent. And this man did the unthinkable things to young children.
right. So that was about a year ago, and I'm just pulling up, sentenced 40 years, lifetime sex offender registry, 40-year no contact order. Did you guys give victim impact statements?
We did.
And what was
We
that
all,
like?
I had sent one to the judge. It was probably about 10 pages. And
Wow.
then in court, I didn't read it out loud because I realized, what is I going to say? What do you say when Ryan is going to get sentenced and the children already have a lifetime sentence? I didn't agree to the plea deal. My children did not agree to the plea deal. We wanted to go to trial. We wanted him to get life because these are lifetime offenses. If you look at the actual charges, the sentence penalty is life.
Yeah.
Yes, Ryan got a very strong sentence for what he pleaded out to. He pleaded out to possession of 4 images that the FBI had already tagged.
That was it. Just the 4 images?
When the judge issued the 40-year restraining order for the living victims, that spoke volumes.
Right.
Ryan apologized. He apologized to me, my son, one of the victims' mothers, his mother, the community, the church. He never apologized to any of his actual living victims.
Mm,
It's what he didn't say that day that said it all.
right. What did the apology mean anything to you or your son?
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing at all. There's no apology for the damage that he's inflicted. I put the pieces back together.
So, Penny, as I told you earlier, I'm so glad you're speaking out because people need to know this stuff. But what can we do? I mean, we all have people in our lives that we trust and that are friends. I mean, what would you do differently looking back now? What advice can you share with us?
One, I would probably do my own background check. I have met with the Department of the State, and they had said to me, "Oh, you just need to be more aware of who you are around your kids." I'm like, "Who's going to do that? Who's vetting them? You?" Because they did a horrible job. This guy also put in his foster care application twice. He withdrew it, I believe, when it came time to the family interviews.
Mm, he wanted his own kids.
He wanted to get he has his own kids. I'm also going to share because now it's out as record. His mother knew what was going on,
Mm,
and she didn't warn me. I don't know how to get over that either. Going forward for protection, do your own background checks. We ran Truth Finder on him, and we found that charge when he was 18.
mm,
It doesn't have details, but if I was an agency doing a background investigation, I absolutely would want to know what that was and inquire about it. But how did he work at all of these children? He worked at Cherry Gulch in Emmett, which is now closed. He was terminated for being sexually inappropriate with minors. The
wow.
church, the church knew about his issues and still let him around children. His parents knew where he was employed and didn't intervene. His friends knew and they didn't intervene. So who has the liability of intervention? You see something, you say something. All I needed to hear was one sentence. He has an issue with little boys, and he would have been out of my life.
Right.
I
Right.
never got that option. I was dumbfounded. I'm still dumbfounded every single day. And I
Yeah.
don't know how to put these things back together for children.
Right.
Um, I know his pattern of infiltrating families, and his right word to use is exactly what he does. I'm not the only family. I know as a fact I'm not the only family. There's probably at least a dozen other families like me that haven't come forward.
Yeah, you said
Uh,
in your email to me, Penny, that often these type of people groom the parents first.
Absolutely groomed us first. How else would we trust him?
Yeah.
He had like the right, he, again, he was a great chameleon. He saw what we needed and took advantage of it for us.
Mm-hmm.
He groomed us because if he didn't have us groomed, would he became that trusting adult, but he was so safe. I mean, had any of my kids ever been like, oh, we don't like him, I would have been, okay, guy's done. The animals liked him, the kids liked him. We had Baca over a few times, the Bikers Against Child Abuse. They met him, therapists met him, group, all of these people had met him.
Right.
He fooled
Wow.
everyone.
Mm.
I don't have, like, most of my friends I have in general are from high school.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of new friends in, or they were like from like the kids' school and we've known him for years. He's the
Yeah.
first person we let into our home, and he's probably the last
So
because how do you
what do you do if you feel something's not right? You know, obviously, hopefully, it's never dramatic as enough as that late night at his house where he's confessing
right?
all. But how do you do that? I think sometimes we might be worried about offending people or making them
Yes,
accusing them of stuff that may not be true, but you just have this feeling. How would you suggest people handle that?
I think the first thing you do is you have to call law enforcement. And you know what? If it's, I think it's the safest thing to do. Call law enforcement, report them to CPS, see if they know anything. Because I don't really know. I've been trying to figure out. I had to take the class Darkness to Light. I didn't learn anything. What I learned from that is actually almost 96% of pedophiles have what they call is trophy backgrounds or something where they know they're going to pass these background checks because they're so good at what they do.
Hmm.
They don't get caught. Ryan thought that night he came over to our house, he smoothed everything over. We would never report him. He actually thought the reason why he got caught was because of his sponsor.
Oh,
He didn't realize it was us.
yeah.
And I think if you are in a class like that, you should also be on a registry someplace. Because if you have an addiction, I don't know how he got through the system. He's good. I mean, in his court apology, he told the judge, he's going to write a book. He's been told to write a book. I don't know about what, but he also said when he gets out, he wants to work with youth and mentor them. That's how sick and twisted he is. That he thinks when he gets released, if he ever gets released, he's going to get out and mentor youth again.
Well, let's hope that's not the case.
Ever,
Yeah.
ever. And I'm grateful that the judge gave him the most time he could with what he had in front of him.
Yeah.
Because had
So
he, sorry, what?
I was gonna say he'll get out at minimum when he's like 72 or something.
65 is when he's up for parole because 30
60.
years, and
Okay.
then they do like the 10 years on top,
So 75, right?
75.
Yeah. Lifetime sex offender registry and then the 40-year no contact order.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's also be leery with men working around children. That's one thing actually I've really learned from this is if a man with no children, no steady relationship wants to be around children, it's probably a red flag. It is a red flag. I
Yeah.
see things completely differently now.
And that's
Completely.
totally understandable. Penny, even I've got three kids of my own. If I'm at a grocery store and I walk into a restroom and there's a little boy in there with no parent, I leave. And maybe guys, that's just me covering this stuff for so many years. Like you don't even want to be anywhere near the situation where you're alone with a kid who isn't your own. That's just my, personal
Uh,
thought.
right. And I'm going to share on here that there are text messages. Again, I don't know about for record, but if you want to pull over police reports to get the quotes, the parents told him in text messages, if anyone makes an accusation against you, you will go to jail. Foster and Hart will be sued. They will lose their licenses because they didn't do a big enough background check on you because the data is out there.
Mm,
And that's in a text message from 2024.
wow.
And no one stopped him.
Yeah.
And we had a pedophile in this community running free for the last, I think he's been here for 5 years.
Mm,
And no one was able to stop him. They never had, like I said, they never had enough for warrants. I never knew. I never knew that the man that was welcome into my home was a monster in plain sight. It's terrifying.
yeah.
And again, 40 years, it's a lot. But what about the kids who have a lifetime sentence? How do you fix that?
Right. Right.
That's the biggest thing I keep coming back to is I can sleep a little bit better at night now that he's not going to get out in 5 years because his friends supported him. And his friends, the DA called out his friend in the courtroom who put in text message, I know you're a pedophile, you're a predator, stop working around children, stay away from little boys. That same friend wrote a letter of recommendation for him.
Hmm.
That same friend said on social media, Ryan's getting off with a slap on the wrist. He's got no priors.
Mm. Well, I can't thank you enough, Penny, for speaking out. And please, all the best to your son and the other victims in this case. And hopefully, you speaking out can prevent something else, or at least if someone's in a situation right now, they can realize, take a second look at it and think, maybe this isn't right.
And again, and go back to really quick is if they seem too good to be true,
Yeah.
right? If this guy, he was on school pickups, not for my kiddos, but for other children that I've learned about from this. He infiltrated barbecues with the family. I'm making this brisket, bike riding, camping trips. And don't be embarrassed. And if you think your son may have been a victim, reassure them it's okay to come forward
Right.
because boys are the hardest ones to come forward. I'm sure you've heard that a lot
Yep.
in what you do because boys' bodies react and they can't control it. And it's embarrassing and it's shameful.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% embarrassment. Don't want to talk about it. Don't want to bring it up. Don't just want to move on. Ignore it. Forget it.
And Ryan is good. He threatened he bribed with money, with food, and threatened with family harm. So he did all the things. He did all the things.